I have one job in life, and that is I learn and then I teach. This is BTC Gambler, and today we're going to talk about the game Diamonds. The game Diamonds. We're going to take a really deep dive into this game today. If you've seen my previous videos, you will know the lengths I go to. And most of you will probably know already that all of these original games are running off a system called provably fair. Now, provably fair works on the basis that you have a server seed, you have a client seed, and every time you make a bet, it moves on a position on the nonce. And every bet is calculable from an unhashed version of the server seed, and it's an unhashed version, well, the client seed, and then the nonce position. And it's a mathematical calculation that is truly provably fair. Now, I'm not going to go too much detail into that today, but just know that I have fully worked that out. In fact, I've recoded it, and I've recreated my own version of provably fair that exactly matches the casino. And that's going to form the basis of a lot of the things that we do from here and going forward. You know, I have a mission. I would like to recreate every one of these games, and today I've recreated the game's Diamonds. And rest assured, I am not asking for anything. The only thing I ask of you is if you like this content, please like the video, leave a comment because that's really important to me. Recognise it takes a lot of work for me to do what I do, and the way that I get motivated to continue to do this is having feedback from you guys is really important to me. Please like, subscribe, add it to a playlist, share it, comment. That's all I ask. That is literally it. And if you want a video on a deep dive technical explanation of how server seed, client seed, and the nonce position works, and how bets are calculated from that, please let me know. I will happily do a video on that. I feel that's probably too technical and it would put most people off. But rest assured, I can tell you that I have recreated that. And if you want me to explain that in detail, you need to let me know, and I will do a video on it. If enough people say it, they would like to see that, then I will do a video. Right, today we're going to be focused on this game Diamonds. And I was particularly interested in Diamonds because I felt Diamonds would be a better game to play using this new gambling system that I came up with called progressive recovery betting. What that is, PRB, progressive recovery betting, is rather than doing martingale, you know, which is where you double down on a loss, at some point, somewhere on that seed, you're going to hit a really nasty streak. How many of you out there have had your fingers burnt with using martingale? So PRB eliminates martingale, and the way it works is that it flat bets all the whilst it's in profit, and when it's not in profit, it continuously adds 20% on the previous bet until it gets back into profit, and then it goes back into flat betting. That's what progressive recovery betting is. And I felt that Diamonds was a better game. And the reason I felt Diamonds was a better game is if I go into the game, and if we go into the description here, now I was playing this with Baccarat, and the worst and the best outcome for Baccarat is you broke even. And the only reason you made a profit was because you add in 20% for every single bet. But here, the odds are similar, but they can pay up to 50x if you get 5 of a kind, which actually you'll see in a minute. That's far more common than people realise. Now, I felt this game was best suited for progressive recovery betting, and this is why I focused on it today. Now, for those that don't know, you just simply bet an amount, and there's no skill in this game whatsoever. You bet an amount. If it doesn't match any gems, you get 0x. If it matches, you just get one pair, you get 0.1x. And if you get 2 pairs, you get 2x. If you get 3 of a kind, you get 3x. You get full house, you get 4x. You get 4 of a kind, it's 5x. And if you get magic 5 of a kind, it's 50x. Now, the house edge in this game is 1.71%. And like I said, there is literally no skills required in this game. But I just feel better suited to progressive recovery betting than it would be if we was to play it normally, than if we was to use something like martingale. So before we start, I want you to know that everything I do is open source. It's free to you guys. And there will be a link in the pinned message of this for the GitHub repository where you can just download this, what I'm about to show you. So in effect, what I have done, I've recreated the game Diamonds using JavaScript so that you can test ideas, things like progressive recovery betting or whatever you want to run using JavaScript. And the reason I use JavaScript is because it's so fast. If you'd have seen my previous videos, I can simulate betting at 300,000 bets per second. There is no other way to really mass test ideas out. You can simulate an entire month's running in a few seconds. And if you just want the answer to something, JavaScript is the way to go. Now, along with this, I have actually produced a spreadsheet as well. So there will be a download link to this spreadsheet. This spreadsheet has the calculations in it for what the base bet should be, and it's got something called a validity checker. It's got the odds and probabilities, and it's got a profit calculator. And if we go back to the GitHub and we look into the Diamonds repository, you will also see not only have you got the Diamond simulator.mjs file, which is the JavaScript file, which we're going to run in a moment. I've also got a version that will run on Alphaverse. So I'm running this on Alphaverse as we speak in, and this is the code if you want to run it on Alphaverse. Diamonds, martingale, progressive recovery betting. And I'm assuming that you know what to do if you're running Alphaverse. So I'll post a link to the root of my repositories so you can see here that I've got Alphaverse there as well. And I've got Baccarat, I've got Diamonds, I've got Dice. And my intention is to get through most of the originals games. But today we're going to be focused on Diamonds. But I'll put the root repository as a pinned comment. And this is the one we're going to be looking at today. This is the Diamonds one. So if I just show you some Visual Studio Code. So like the previous code, it's very, very basic, guys. Very basic. You've got these system variables that you don't really touch. But these are the variables that you may want to play around with. If you've got an idea and you want to test it, you can do it here. So I said here I'm going to do 7,200,000 bets, which represents 1 month of running. So 1 month is 7,200,000 bets. And you see how fast it runs. We're going to set the base bet, set our start balance. Yeah, I'm going to set a vault threshold. So it will vault every time there's 4 profit. You don't touch these variables. And then you go right down. Just come to the bottom part of the code here. And here we're determining what to do if we get a win or if we get a lose. At the moment I'm not doing anything, but I've left some comments in there just in case you want to add your own sort of changes. So if you want to do like increase in a loss or a win, you can change these codes here. And it's got the variable previous bet sort of already pre-programmed. Okay, but I'm not working on this. I'm checking the profit. So I'm saying here, if the profit is greater than or higher than 0, then it does flat betting. It just bets the base bet. And if the profit is greater than the vault threshold, it deposits to the vault threshold, which we saw earlier was 4. So as soon as it makes 4 profit, it will vault. And then obviously if the profit is not greater or higher than 0, then it has to be in a negative scenario. And so we don't need to check for that. If it is below 0, then it adds 20% to every single bet. And it keeps adding 20% until it gets back into profit. And that is the basis of progressive recovery betting. And that is what I'm testing. Now you can test any other idea that you have got. You don't need to be a genius in coding. All you need to know, next bet, previous bet, and what the base bet is. And you can determine whether you want whatever you want to do. And finally, before we come off the code, and I know this won't be to everybody's taste, the code, but I do encourage you to play around with this, is the debug mode again. At the moment I've got it set to true, and the reason we want it to set to true because if you're testing ideas, you really want to see in really low level detail exactly what is going on. And there is a stark difference to the way this code runs, whether you've got debug mode enabled, whether it's true or false. So we're going to run it with this debug mode as true, so you can see exactly what it runs like. And then later on we're going to change this to false, so you can see the difference between the two. So just know at this stage that this code is fully replicated the game Diamonds, and as I'm going to demonstrate to you in a minute, is 100% provably fair. It's taken many days to get this exactly right, but it follows exactly how the game plays out, how it gets the raw game events from the server seed, the client seed, and a nonce position, and the math behind it all, how that works, and how the gems are calculated out. But you'll see. You will see. So what we're looking at here, we've got a Node.js command prompt open here, and I'm going to run the diamondsimulator.mjs. So this is what you do. You just type in node diamondsimulator.mjs, and on the right hand side here I've got the provably fair system open on a casino. And when I run this, it's going to tell you if you won or lost, and it's keeping a track, and all the bets are being sort of tracked. So I'm just going to stop it. So we've done a total of 15 bets. There is a bet delay which you can change, and this one here is called debug delay. It's set to 1000 milliseconds, which is basically 1 second. If you want it to run a little bit faster, you can adjust that. But for the purpose of debugging, you wouldn't really want to do that because it becomes too difficult. But I want to show to you, like bet 15 for example was this server seed, which is completely random. Let's put these details in here. Now before I put the nonce position in there, I don't know the outcome of this, but this has told me the game result was red, purple, green, purple, pink. So red, purple, green, purple, pink. That was obviously a pair which paid out 0.1x. So let's put the nonce position in. There we go. Red, purple, green, purple, pink. A pair. 0.1x. And if we move down a nonce position, which was game 14, again that would have been a pair, which it was, and we can see here purple, red, green, cyan, purple. Move down one more position and that should be blue, blue, green, yellow, red. Blue, blue, green, yellow, red. And then cyan, cyan, yellow, pink, purple. Cyan, cyan, yellow, green, purple. You get it. It's exactly 100% spot on. This game is 100% provably fair. I have recreated the provably fair system, and it's 100% accurately representing the game. So, like I said, if you want to debug it, you're more than welcome to test this too as many times as you want, but you will get the same results. It was really important for me to do that because if we really wanted to simulate exactly what the casino is doing en masse, this needed to be provably fair. And if we just track this through here, it does tell me some other important information. So for example, let's work backwards. So at the moment we're in a negative profit scenario, which would have mean the next bet would be, the next bet would have been 20% of added on top of this bet. And you can see that they're slowly progressing on. So we know if you're sense checking this code, it's doing exactly what you want. Always keep a very close eye on that. So where this gets really interesting though is obviously if we change this code, and this time we're going to turn off the debug mode by changing the debug mode to false, saving that. Now if we run this again, this is going to simulate an entire month's worth of running. And it's going to tell us some really interesting stats that there is literally no other way to get. Right, we're done. Slightly slower than running Baccarat. Baccarat was getting 300,000 bets, but this is more of an overhead on a computational part of things. We're still getting 154,000, so 154,000 bets per second. So it means we run an entire month's running in seconds still. So we could see we run 7,200,000 bets. We made a slight profit. The total amount wages was there. Now this is interesting. We had 5 of a kind. We had happened 5,726 times during that period of time. So we're keeping a track of all of the different permutations of the game events. Yeah, a massive 180,000 5 of a kind. And you can see it's really important stats. It'd be impossible to get these numbers. Impossible. We had the highest losing streak of 36 losses in a row. And I keep a track of what the lowest balance was. So the balance was way overkill, but it was there to demonstrate the capability. And like I said, just play around with this. If you're going to run and test ideas, put in there the balance that you would be running with. And there is a check within the code. If the next bet is greater than the current balance, then it busts. And it gives you the stats around that. It tells you what the closing server seed was, what the client seed was, what the closing nonce position was, if you just wanted to go back and sense check things. So like I said, this is open source. It's free. Please play around with it. Here it is. I will edit this before they go live because I will put in the README this video. Obviously I can't add the video yet because it's being created as we speak. So this video will go into the README file as well. Use tools like this. Because if you're going to run AlphaVerse, for example, I'm getting just shy of 2 million bets per hour. Those numbers may seem absolutely crazy that I'm knowing there. doing there, but they're not. They're not. It's the levels that you need to go to. So this is a relatively short video for me. And I encourage you, if you've got any questions, just put your comments on YouTube. And I will do my damnedest to answer every single one of them. If I can save one person from losing a shed ton of money, then I'm happy. And I truly believe that one of you guys out there will come up with a cracking idea, far better than what I come up with, probably better than progressive recovery betting. Share your knowledge. I share my knowledge, you share your knowledge. I put in a link to Discord as well. Please come along, join the community of like-minded people. I tend to attract like-minded people. And I really like the original games. And the reason I like them is because they're all provably fair. The house edge is really low compared to slots, for example. Slots are just for entertainment. And you can apply maths to it. And then you can create novel strategies using code, knowing that the bet outcome is sealed. Once you've got your server seed and your client seed, your fate is determined. And there's nothing the casino can do about it. The casino will know the outcome of your bet before you even place it, but there is absolutely nothing they can do about it. And this is why I love this form of gambling, because you're fully in control. When you code them, you can gamble in novel ways that is impossible to do on a website. And I'm absolutely convinced one of you guys out there will come up with a cracking idea that is way better than progressive recovery betting. And we're here for each other at the end of the day. We are here. This is for the players. Stuff like Alphaverse. We're doing 2 million bets per hour, micro betting, small amounts, but done over 2 million bets per hour. It doesn't half add up, guys. It's novel ideas like that I encourage. Like I said, it's all open source. And as you know, everything I do, I tend to back up with the maths, and the maths is embedded within the Excel spreadsheet. So again, in the description, the pinned comment of this video, there will be, number one, a link to all my GitHub repositories. And if you wanted to do diamonds, it is here. If you wanted to do baccarat, it's here. If you want Alphaverse, it's here. If you wanted dice, it's here. My plan is to increase the number of games that are on here as well. So there'll be a link to that. There will be a link to download the spreadsheet, and there will be a link to my Discord. And it's in Discord that you're going to find people like me, just like me, like-minded people. And I think that's where the real value is, guys. That is where the real value is attracting like-minded people just like me, just like you. And I really hope this has been useful. Remember, please like the video, leave a comment, because that's the bit that encouraged me to continue this journey. I'm going to end the video here, guys, and I'll speak to you all again very soon.